Eli. The bear was still down there. I could see it clearly now, slowly circling the base of the tree like it was deciding whether or not it was worth the effort to climb up. Honestly, I wasn't sure which of us was more stubborn at this point, the bear or me, staying here in this ridiculous tree instead of making a break for it. But that was the situation I was in now, waiting out a giant animal who looked like it could eat me for lunch and make it look easy. And Luke. Well, Luke was up there, all stoic and quiet, as usual. His calmness was starting to get to me. I needed a distraction, anything to get my brain out of bear mode. I had no signal, my phone was dead, and I wasn't even sure if yelling for help would do any good. So, I did what any reasonable person would do in this situation. I started asking Luke questions. Weird questions. So, if you had to choose, would you rather be a bear or a wolf? I blurted out, trying to break the silence. Luke didn't even look at me. I'm not answering that. Why not? It's a fun question. I pressed, unable to keep the grin off my face, despite the awkwardness of the whole situation. He sighed deeply. Because it's a stupid question. But why? I pushed, already sensing I was getting under his skin. I mean, a wolf could be cool, right? They're all wild and stuff. But a bear could probably win in a fight. I think I'd be a bear. Luke didn't react for a moment, and I thought maybe he was just going to ignore me completely. That was fine. I wasn't giving up. What about you? I added, despite him clearly not being interested. Do you like your bear life? Seems pretty chill. He didn't even flinch. This is dumb. I bit my lip to keep from laughing. I'm just trying to keep the mood light. You know, since we're stuck in a tree with no way down, and a bear who could eat us both. The silence stretched again, the tension thick between us. The bear, of course, was still circling. I glanced down at it and back up at Luke, who was still keeping his distance emotionally. I needed more. Maybe I was trying to push him into something, anything, to break the tension. What's your favorite tree? I asked next, way more earnest than I should have been. I know you're all about nature, but do you have a favorite type of tree? For a second, I thought he was going to ignore that too. But then he finally spoke, though his voice was dry and clipped. A pine tree. I nodded, trying not to sound too pleased. That's a solid choice. Pines are sturdy. You'd definitely survive in a pine tree. Luke didn't say anything to that. He just stared ahead, his arms crossed, like he was pretending this wasn't his reality. But I knew better. He wasn't nearly as calm as he let on. I decided to go one step further, pushing the weirdness. Do you ever, talk to the animals around here? You know, hey, squirrel, I'm just passing through, don't mind me. I mimicked his voice, making my pitch a little more ridiculous. Luke looked over at me then, his lips twitching, but still, he kept his stoic mask on. I don't talk to the animals. I observe. I couldn't help it. Sure. But if you did talk to them, what would you say? Do you ever stop talking? He snapped, the sarcasm finally leaking through his cool exterior. Oh, there it was. That was the opening I'd been waiting for. Just trying to keep things interesting, I said, leaning into my best teasing tone. I mean, you don't talk much, so I gotta make up for it. Someone's got to entertain us while we're stuck in this tree. Besides, I'm dying to know what you really think about pine trees. Pine trees are fine. Now can you stop talking about trees? Or bears? Or whatever ridiculous thing you come up with next. I laughed, relieved to hear some actual emotion in his voice, even if it was sarcasm. Fine. I'll stop. But only because you're so grumpy about it. What are you like, a bear in disguise? Luke rolled his eyes, but I could tell I was starting to get under his skin now. I'm not a bear. And I'm not grumpy. I'm just trying not to fall out of this tree. Thanks. I grinned, leaning back against the trunk. Well, I'd say you're succeeding so far. Not falling, that is. Not grumpy. He shot me a look, and for the first time, I could see a hint of a smile in the corner of his mouth. Keep talking, and I might just decide to fall. Can't fall. You've got to protect me from the bear, remember? Right, he muttered. I forgot about that. The bear was still there, still circling, but now it felt like we were in this together. And for the first time, that didn't feel so bad. Maybe things wouldn't be as miserable as I'd thought.